Game 3 certainly didn't go the way the Dodgers planned. They fall to the Nationals 8-3. The Nationals lead the best-of-5 series 2-1. Andy McCullough, Lindsay Theory for the Los Angeles Times. Andy, it has to be all about the starting pitching right now. Clayton Kershaw didn't go deep into Game 1. Rich Hill struggled in Game 2. Kenta Maeda, he continued the trend here in Game 3.
Yeah, it's like an inverted game of can you top this? Kenta Maeda is the current clubhouse leader. I mean, it was, he gave him very little. He went 3 innings, gave up 4 runs, forced them to kind of, incinerate the bullpen today. So they're going to have some tough decisions for who to start in Game 4. This is a team that was built on pitching. That's what they did all year long, and they didn't get a ton of depth or length, from their starting pitchers all year long, but they did get like 4 or 5 decent innings from them, and this was not that. So for, Maeda to put them in an early hole at a time when the offense is not exactly clicking was really problematic.
Andy, you mentioned the offense, and it was working well at the beginning. Corey Seager, once again in his first at-bat, an RBI double. Previous 2 games, it was a home run in each one of those. But then, when they go against the relief pitchers of the Nationals, they completely shut down.
Yeah, I mean, the offense right now is basically like Justin Turner, Corey Seager, and 6 guys just kind of like holding bats. I mean, they've hit some balls hard, they've hit some balls at people. Some guys have got singles, blah, 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 blah. But the only guys consistently putting together good at bats is Justin Turner. Corey Seager is at least driving runs in and doing things productively slugging wise, but Turner is really the only guy who's been consistent in all 3 games. And look, it's not really fair to judge teams on what happens in a 3-game sample, but that's what the rules are.
Yeah.
You have to win. So everything gets magnified. And the offense has just been pretty much non-existent, and especially, as you said, against the bullpen. And it's not like they're being shut down by Mark Melancon in the 5th inning. It's Sammy Solis. It's Mark Zepchinski. It's Oliver Perez. They had several cracks at Sean Kelly today. And look, these guys are okay relievers. They're not trash, but this is the playoffs. You're allowed to get hits against other good players, and the Dodgers have not been able to do that.
Andy, you alluded to it earlier, but the Dodgers have a big decision to make who they're going to start in Game 4. It was an interesting scene in the clubhouse after the game. Reporters were waiting for Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw smiled at reporters and said, "I'm not telling you anything that Doc hasn't already told you." But you have to wonder and you have to think they must win Game 4. That must mean Clayton Kershaw is going to be back on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 ways to look at it. Like, what is the best way to win the series? Well, probably the best way to win the series would be Julio Urias tomorrow, and then Clayton Kershaw on full rest in Game 5. But in order to win the series, you need to win tomorrow. And, it's very tough as a baseball team to look at an elimination game when you have the best pitcher on the planet who wants the baseball and keep him on the, in the dugout, on the bench. I could see a scenario in which Kershaw starts tomorrow, and then for Game 5, they ask Rich Hill to go get 3 innings.
But what about that blister?
The blister's not an issue. I mean, the blister's not.
He's urinated on it enough.
I think we've all urinated on our hands at one point. So I think Hill, you could see a scenario where Hill pitches 1 time through the order, Urias comes 1 time through the order, and then you just try and make it work. But from a game theory perspective, it's probably better to have Urias tomorrow, Kershaw Game 5. But to win tomorrow, I think Clayton Kershaw is the right choice, and I think he'll be the guy getting the ball.
Not an easy call for Dave Roberts. Do you play to win Game 4, which you must win, or do you plan for Game 5? That's why they pay him the big bucks. With Andy McCullough, I'm Lindsay Thier. We'll be right back here for Game 4 at Dodger Stadium Tuesday.